Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to demonstrate how to make this really cool cityscape. This is a fun project, particularly for beginners. You wanted to get yourself comfortable with modeling here in Onshape. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to open up Onshape and create a new part studio. You go ahead and name your cityscape. And when you come in Onshape, you'll see that you've got the coordinate axes set up. There's your front plane, top plane, and right plane. The planes are the flat surfaces that you use to create your models on. And then we'll need a sheet of paper to sketch on. Those are called sketches. They're up top here. So go ahead and grab a sketch. We're going to click on the top plane. As you can see, I'm able to orbit my screen around rather easily. I'm using a physical mouse, and by right-clicking and dragging, the screen orbits. By pushing down on the mouse wheel, the wheel on the mouse, and moving side to side, I can pan around. By rolling in and out with the mouse wheel, I can zoom in and out. So this is a really awesome way to get started. If you're using the keypad, the touchpad on the computer, first try to find yourself a mouse. It's way easier. But if you are, Z zooms out, no, zooms in, and Shift Z zooms out. So Z and Shift Z will let you move in and out. And then View Cube up here in the right-hand corner, you can click on the corners of it to rotate you to isometric views, and click on the faces to get you to orthographic views. So right now we're going to go ahead and get back into our top, front, right isometric. And I've created a sketch here. So let's go ahead and create the ground. So the first thing, we need some ground. So we're just going to go ahead and construct a rectangle. And we're going to give it a dimension. And for the sake of giving space, we're going to make this 100 inches by 100 inches. This is the only dimension you're going to need in this model to use that tool for. The rest of the things here will just be going by eye. Once you have the ground sketch created, hit the green check mark to finish that sketch. Now you can see on the left-hand side you have a sketch created called ground. And if I want to go back and modify that sketch at any time, I don't need to hit the sketch button again. I just double click on ground to go back and modify that sketch. So I say, you know what, I really don't want that to be 100. I want it to be 110. Easy peasy. Good. So that's now my space. It's not an object yet. In order to turn it into an object, we need to go from a sketch, a two-dimensional surface, to a solid, an extrusion, or some other form. So we're going to click, in this case, the extrude button, which is right here, and we're going to create the ground. And it's going to ask us some things. You'll see highlighted in blue, faces and sketch regions to extrude. So we'll click that area we want to extrude, and we're going to leave it at 1 inch. And that's all there is, all she wrote for creating the ground. Of course, ground isn't blue, and it's not called part 1. So I'm going to rename the part that just appeared down here in the bottom left corner of the screen. I'm going to rename that to ground. And then we're going to give it a better color. You know what? Most people like green ground better than other grounds. So we're going to go edit appearance. We're going to choose a nice pretty shade of green. So there's our ground. Now we're going to go back into the center, and we're going to start creating buildings. As you can see here, I still have that coordinate planes in the middle. I don't want to have to look at those anymore, so I'm just going to tap the P key on my keyboard to make those go away. I'll keep the origin in the center for the moment because that's the center of the workspace, and that's easy for us to remember. We'll do our first building right smack dab in the center. So let's go ahead and create a sketch, and we're going to click on the top surface of that rectangle. Now my sketching tools pops up at the top, and we're going to take the corner rectangle, center rectangle. Notice that all the tools have letters next to them. Well, not all the tools, many of the tools have letters next to them, and those are shortcuts. So if you tap the R key on the keyboard, you get the same thing as going up and hitting that button. So Throughout the rest of this video, I'm probably just going to say tap the R key or tap the G key after I've done something once or twice. Let's go ahead and draw that center rectangle. So click and release on the origin, and we'll create this probably about somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 inches. And that is it for the building 1. So we'll just call that building 1. And hit the green check. And now we just have the footprint of our first building. Go ahead and hit the extrude button. Tap on that extrusion, on that rectangle, and pull the arrow up as tall as you want for your building. I'm going to call that building 1. And if we hit the check mark, you'll see that it is green. I don't want a green building. Do you want a green building? And it didn't create a building. It just created a thing sticking out of the ground. All right, we can fix that. Double click on building. Change it from add to new. Now we've got a new part showing up down here. And it's gray, like a building. Of course, is that the color we want? Maybe. Maybe we want something different. We'll call that building 1. And we're going to go ahead and give that a color that we want other than that gray. That gray is too dark. Let's go with a lighter gray. Ooh, that's a nice blue gray. There you go. There's my first building. I want to add a street. Same procedure, just slightly different measurements. So let's go ahead and add a street. We're going to put it on the surface, and we can use our rectangle tool again. Tapping the N key gets you normal to the work plane, saves you time having to go up to the menus up top or by mousing around. I'll line that up, and then we go on out here, and there's my street. You know, I'm going to make a street crossing. We're going to have 2 streets. We're going to put this building on a corner. So tap this arrow, turn that around, and there we go. So this building's at an intersection. There you go. So there's my streets. If I want to trim that out of the intersection there, I can say there's up at the top, you'll find a trim tool. Let's see, where is that? Underneath, nope, that's not it. That's not it. There it is, trim, M. The M key is the shortcut, so you can always tap the M key or click the trim button, and then we can trim out that section, center section. And now instead of having a bunch of crossing lines, we have a cross. We're going to call that street or street 1. Well, Main Street. Why the heck not? And hit the green check. And let's go ahead and extrude that street. Streets aren't exactly level with the ground, so we're going to extrude that a little bit. And we'll go 1/10 of an inch. Oops. If you accidentally kick an extra thing, just uncheck it. I want my Main Street to be green. I want it to be a separate part. Let's just double click on it and click new again. And we'll call that Main Street. We forgot to call it Main Street. Dang it, Main Street. And I hit that green check. So there you go. Now I got Main Street. Should Main Street be blue? Let's make Main Street black. Let's make Main Street black. We're right-clicking, choosing edit appearance, and choosing black. There we go. Now we got Main Street, and we've got our one building on it. Oops. Now it's time to just go ahead and continue creating more buildings and have fun and create as many buildings as we want to make the city that you want to create. So remember, the procedure is sketch. Just give it a name, building 2. You can have fun with it and give it, my house or school or whatever your favorite business is. The sports center, library. Have fun and be creative. You also have the corner rectangle tool you can use, G, which will allow you, what the heck did I do? Go select the sketch plane. It's not like a sketch on the surface. That's better. Building 2. That's more like it. Now we're going to go ahead and create that rectangle. It's going to be a much bigger building. I'm going to make it wide but short. Finish that building, extrude it, and pull it up a little bit shorter. There you go. That's going to be a new building again. And that's building 2. Here, rename. Now, you could do multiple buildings at the same time. Hit the sketch button. And we're going to go ahead and make this buildings 3 through 6. We're going to do 3 buildings. All right. I'm going to go ahead in that sketch and I'm going to create 3 buildings. Top view. We're going to draw 3 buildings right here in a hurry. So line that up. 1 building on this corner, 1 building here, and 1 building here. We're making a long skinny one. I just made buildings 3 through 6, but what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and click the extrude button. Draw another building. Make sure it's new. And, oh, wait a minute, where did those go? All right, I can just click the eyeball to turn it back on, and now I get my sketch back. I can adjust, new button. Building 4, I forgot to rename that. Building 3. And another extrusion for building 3, 4, 5. There you go. It's a new part. And I said that we're going to go to 3 through 6, so I can actually go back into that building 2. Nope, no. I'm going to go back into that buildings 3 through 6 sketch and add another rectangle. There you go. Shift E is the shortcut for extrusion. Save you some time there. And that's a new part, and that's building 6. At some point, you're probably thinking, well, this is all well and good, but it just looks like a pile of blocks. So let's put some windows or doors or other features on it. Okay, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on the surface of the model. Let's go ahead and add some windows. Adding windows is just like the other things. We're going to create a rectangle. But then you're thinking, wait a minute, do I want to have to draw all those rectangles to draw those windows? Nah, I'm not going to do that. We're going to use the linear pattern tool, which you might have to find on a drop-down menu up here by clicking the arrow next to the dimension tool. Linear pattern tool, and then select the areas you want a linear pattern. Type the number of patterns you want. So vertically, we're going to go, let's go 5. And pull the arrow. There you go. And horizontally, quick, let's go with 6. 7. 8. There you go. And you can pull the arrows to make them fit or not fit better. And there you go. Those are windows. So that's building 6 windows. And hit that green check mark. Now my building 6 has sketches for windows, but there's not windows yet. So let's go ahead and extrude them a little bit so they have some depth. Windows aren't perfectly flat on the side of the building, They do have some depth to them. So hit that extrude button. But do I have to go and click every single one of those? That's annoying. No, I don't have to. What we're gonna do is we're gonna click the Building 6 Windows sketch. And we're gonna click remove this time to cut a little bit out. So because they're gonna be recessed back. We're not gonna go full inch, we're just gonna go 0.1 inches. And that's Building 6 Windows. So with these techniques, you can have a whole lot of fun creating cool stuff. You can change colors of not only entire blocks, but faces of blocks. If I want to change the color of just the face of this to make the windows stand out, so we'll set the whole part 8 is building 6. So if I want to make building 6's windows black, the easiest way is actually to make the whole building black. Oops. Check mark, and then we're going to go ahead and change the appearance of the faces. Oops. Add appearance of the face. Okay. And you can click all the faces you want to turn. And check it. And now I have a gray building with all the black windows. So this is what it takes. You guys have fun, create cool stuff. I love to see what you can come up with. As always, keep being awesome.